This is a big breaking update that we are getting to you on top of this edition of the news here at 6. Reports now suggest that a gradual and a cautious withdrawal process has begun in Ladakh. This after the 9th round of talks. An Indian Army statement is awaited, is what we are learning. Remember, the disengagement between India and Chinese troops has started today in the North Bank, is what we can tell you. This process is going to be phase-wise and will be verified at almost every step. Now, this is an information that we are getting through our sources, and Abhishek is just going to join us in a bit to put that story into perspective. This is a disengagement that is now underway in both the South and the North Bank that has started earlier today. First, the armored component moved out, then the troops at the rear begin to thin out. We still continue to hold strategic heights, is what we are learning. Abhishek, this is a very, very important and a significant big breaking development that you're sharing with us right now.
Well, yes, Deepthi, so this is a very important development. Beginning April, troops have been eyeball to eyeball all across the eastern sector of line of actual control in Ladakh. And we saw the Galwan clash, which led to the loss of a martyrdom of 20 of our brave soldiers. And then subsequent escalation. For some moments, it almost looked that India and China are close to war. And sources tell us, our contacts tell us, that there were many situations all through these months when any of these small clashes could have escalated into a localized conflict, and possibility of war loomed large over the region. Now, with this troop withdrawal, a cautious movement, I would say. You know, this is as of now in the stage of disengagement. This is as of now in the stage of disengagement, where there would be a cautious pullback from these frontline positions where the troops were eyeball to eyeball. And then as a senior officer in the forces explained to me, Deepthi, that the withdrawal would be in terms of the time it takes to come back to the same position. Sushant Sareen is with us. Sushant, you are the expert on the subject. If you can throw some light into how the process really goes. As an officer was explaining to me, the withdrawal would happen in the form of the time it takes to cover a particular distance. So if the Chinese soldiers can come back to the present positions, say in 15 minutes, India will pull back its troops, not say 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers, but only the distance that can be covered in those 15 minutes. Sushant.
Well, that was one of the sticking points, one of the things which was being negotiated. Now, as of now, all we have is a Chinese statement. I am more interested in knowing what the Indian statement is and whether the Indians entirely agree. And very often we have seen that, things are lost in translation, and our interpretation of what is the understanding is sometimes at variance with what the Chinese interpretation is. So I will reserve my comments. We know what the standpoint of the Indian side was, and one of the points was, of course, what you are stating, that the time taken to reach those positions. But I would be extremely cautious because given the kind of build-up that the Chinese have been doing, in the depth areas, given the kind of other infrastructure development which they have done, I think, want to exercise a lot of caution. I would imagine that we have learned lessons from the sordid history which we have had with the Chinese, and we are, careful, very, very careful, rather. But I would want to see what exactly the MEA and the ADGPI are saying. I buy into what the Chinese have said.